Hello, my name is Teresa Micheletti, and this site is called Take What Rings True. So, the whole idea is I'm going to be talking about spiritual things, and you can take what rings true to you and let the rest go. You don't have to believe anything I say. So, today I want to talk about option lines. I believe that we go to a hall of charts on the other side and we write in all the big X's, all the big things that we want to experience in this lifetime. Now, I believe that because I take clients to the other side, hypnosis clients to the other side, to visit the hall of charts. And also, I spent years going to trance classes where a psychic, Sylvia Brown, would go sit on a bench on the other side and her spirit guide would come in and talk to us. So, two spirit guides actually, Francine and Rahim. Francine came in and told us about the Hall of Charts and about writing our chart and about the option line. Now, we all have one area of our life that we did not write in, and we decided that before we decided all the other stuff that we wanted to experience. Now, I have a friend who has 3 option lines. If you're on your last life and you've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish in many lifetimes, then you may have more than one option line. But that's not often the truth. Usually you have one option line. Now, I want you to think about your life. What area of your life is always gone haywire? You have trouble getting it together. So think about which area of your life is not going well and goes askew no matter what you do. These are the areas: health, spirituality, love, social life, finance, career, and family. Which one of those areas always messes up the rest of your life? Not to say that things don't go wrong in other parts of your life, but which one's in constant disarray? Can you not get together your finances? Can you not get together your career? Is your family always a mess? Do you have trouble hanging on to your spirituality? Do you have trouble with your health? Do you have trouble with your love life? Do you have trouble with your social life? So let's go over those again: health, spirituality, love, social life, finance, that's, money, career, and family. It's the one area you can try to ignore, tell yourself everything's fine, but it's not. It's essential, but it stops you in life. It affects you. Not to say there aren't bumps in the other areas, but that one area just cannot seem to come together. Now, the most difficult one, I think, is family, because a whole bunch of people are involved and a whole bunch of people's charts. And you can't just say, I want a big, happy family. Let's have a nice Christmas dinner. Let's have a nice Hanukkah dinner. And then everything goes awry. Not to say that that would be your option line just because your family goes awry. It could just be your family is the way they are. But if you try to get everyone together, a nice holiday, a nice luncheon, and it never, ever, ever seems to come together, then it's probably family. But that's the most difficult one because you're not just dealing with yourself, you're dealing with other people. Okay, mine is love life. So I had lots of love partners. I went out on lots of dates. I was engaged to this awful person that was trying to control me. But I couldn't get someone to come into my life to be the person I wanted them to be a kind person, to be a person who liked animals, to be a person who had a sense of humor. So finally, after taking a class from Sylvia Brown, I sat down and I wrote down what I did not want. And I suggest you do this for any area of your life that you think is your option line. What don't you want in your life? Then look at that list, and on the opposite side, you can even fold a piece of paper in half the long way and write down all the things you don't want, and then look at those and make the opposite. What do you want? So, for my love life, I wanted someone who had a sense of humor, someone who was honest, someone who liked animals, someone who liked to take walks in nature. I went out with one guy, my former fiance, who didn't like walking in the rain, who didn't like walking in nature. It's like, this is wrong. Should have been a signal to me. Hey, this is wrong. That's not what I want. So you write down what you want in your life on a clean piece of paper or a clean computer file, and then you set it aside. I wrote mine, put it like in an envelope, put it in my drawer, and let the universe take care of it. And what happened? That person came to me. In fact, I tried to delete him from my contact list, and he kept coming back up because he was living too far away from me. He was living in the Silicon Valley, and he was like an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half, I forget exactly how long, away from me. I thought, well, that's too far away. Well, since he kept coming up, coming up, coming up, I thought, okay, fine. I'm going to interact with this person more. And he checked all the boxes. If you look at my list, even down to the point of brown hair, 5'9" or higher or taller, it's all check, 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 every single thing. So, say your option line is finances. Then write down you want perfect wealth for the rest of your life. You want enough money for all your needs. You want enough money to have fun. You want enough money to give away to people that need help or charities or whatever you want to give to. And you want to be able to take vacations. So you write that in. If you do not have health that's good, maybe that's your option line. If you know about an actress called Elizabeth Taylor, her option line was health, and she was open to anything that came along. So she had so many near death experiences because she would get sick. She would contract all these weird diseases. If you believe that one area of your life is the part that's the option line, even if you're wrong, you can still write it in. If you're right, if you're wrong, well, then you're wrong. But write in what you think it is, write in exactly what you want, whether it's your health, then you write in you want perfect health. You want to have the healthiest body you can have. You want all of your cells to move to your personal optimum, and write down exactly what you want. You don't want to get sick, et cetera, et cetera. If Elizabeth Taylor had written that in, then she probably wouldn't have been up for all the things that come along. So what happens if you have an option line? Then you're a wide open space. So anything that comes along in that area, that can happen to you. So write it in. Not to say you don't have bumps along the way in all the other areas of your life. But if you take that one area, that one unwritten or barely written in area, let's go over them again: health, love, family, finance, career, social life, spirituality. Whichever is your option line, which area falls apart, which area can you not pull together? That's what you sit down and write about. You have free will to write what you want. So write in a perfect plan for that area of your life. And you weren't going to get it unless you actually sit down and think about it and write it. Otherwise, you're up for grabs. Whatever comes along, that's what you get. So you can pull it together, whether it's family, finances, personal, spiritual. And as I said, I think the hardest one is family because you have to deal with all these other people and what they're doing. So it's kind of hard to get that all together. But my love life thing, that was a wonder to write all those attributes down and then have someone come into my life who was really smart, who was a conversationalist, who could get along with anybody. It's very nice to have that come true. So you aren't going to just say poof and everything's fixed. You have to like sit down and think about it. What do you want in your life? If this is your option line, what do you want? If you want to bring your finances up, then you write down what you want. I like the perfect wealth. If family is your option line, then ask for harmony. Harmony is nice. And when people get along, at least when you're around you, that makes your life a little easier. So, if your finances, then ask for perfect wealth. If your health, then write down you want perfect health. You want to be well. You want all of your cells in your body to move to your personal optimum. If you're not well now, then you want to be well. You want the illness to fall away from you. So, a clean piece of paper or a clean, unused computer file, and then you can put it away. You can burn it and send it to the universe. I like to keep mine because I wanted to check and see after I got my option if those things came true. And it was check, 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 check. Now, in the other areas of your life, you do have lateral movement. Say you wrote down in your chart that you're going to have a house. And I've talked about this before. You could have the house on the alley, a shack. You could have a beautiful view on a mountaintop. You could live in a wonderful apartment in the city. You decide. So even though it's written in your chart, you have an X, okay, I'm going to have a house, I'm going to have a home, then you decide what kind of home that is in your life. So you have lateral movement. You can change the kind of thing you're going to have. So say you wrote down you're going to have a job in France. Okay. Then maybe you decided to study medicine. Well, there's all sorts of things you can do. You could be a nurse, you could be a consultant, you can be an accountant at a hospital, you could be a healthcare worker in people's homes. You have lateral movement. You write in the big X's, and then you have lateral movement from there. Everything's not set in stone. You could have an illness. And even though you wrote down you're going to keep that illness, you still have lateral movement. You can have less symptoms. You can have less pain or no pain. So make sure whatever's happening to you in your life, that you think about how can you mitigate this? How can you soften it? And then ask for that. Petition for it. Petition the universe or the emotional side of our creator. I call asana. And you can have lateral movement. The same with your option line. Put it out there. If you don't put out what you want, the universe doesn't know what it is. I know I tended to just like go, there's no one in my life, there's no companion, and just complain about it. That did not bring anyone to me. And also, as I told you before, I would go to work and go home, go to work and go home. Kind of hard to meet anyone when you're doing that, especially when you work with small children. Not a lot of single adults going around. As I said a couple of weeks ago, A friend of mine was asking angels about her love life. And they said, wishing, wishing, wishing. You have to take action. In order to have change in your life, you must take action. You can't just complain about it. You can't just wish it. You have to decide. Angels cannot help you. Spirit guides cannot help you till you decide your path. What path are you taking? Okay, you have an option line that's not written in. Write it in. You have something going on in another area of your life. Okay, how can you change that? How can you soften it? And think about it. So that's why it's good to take time to reflect. Take time to reflect about what's happening with you. What's happening in your life? What could you soften? What could you change? What path could you take instead of the one you're on? So maybe your option line is career. Okay, you're in a job you hate. Okay, what would you like? And then move towards that. Even if it's not your option line, if you're in a job that you hate, you still have lateral movement. What would you rather do? Maybe the lesson is that boss you have or that partner you have at work is atrocious, is awful, is mean. And maybe the lesson is leave or stand up for yourself. Don't be a doormat. So, my suggestion, I'm going to go over those areas again. You have many areas that you wrote into your chart, all the big X's. I'm going to go work in France. I'm going to become a health aide. I'm going to marry someone, whatever. And you wrote those big X's in. But there's one area you left blank or barely written. And these are the areas: health, family, career, social life, love, finance, spirituality. The area that falls apart is your option line. And remember, you can have bumps in the road in the other ones, but which one can you never get a grasp on? That area you cannot pull together. That's the area you sit down and write in what you want. Write it in. You have free will on the other side when you write in your chart to write what you want to experience. And then when you come to Earth, you have free will to write what you want, all of what you want for that option line. So, what is that area and what do you want? As always, if we just complain about it, it doesn't change anything. We need to take action. What do we want to change in our life? Whether it's your option line or the other essential areas and you have a bump in the road, how are you going to change what's happening? Whether it's lateral movement or it's option line and you write it in. So take some time to reflect today and see if you can figure out which is your option line and what do you want to have happen in that option line? What do you want for your social life? What do you want for your career? What do you want for your family? That's the hard one. What do you want for your health? What do you want for your love life? What do you want for your finances? What do you want for your spirituality? Write it in. Kind of nice that we have one area, or as I told you, a friend of mine had 3 areas, but that's her last life. And you can write it in. What do you want? Okay, so thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time on another topic that's spiritual. Thanks for joining me. Bye.